biased against us. We have recordings of the judges saying that he's biased. We have recordings of him saying he's biased.
What did the point? What? I even have the refs.
It was a unanimous decision. Yeah, exactly.
4 out of 4 refs ruled in our favor?
4 out of 4 refs ruled in our favor.
Well, I have proof. I recorded the entire Skype call.
Reinhardt said, Reinhardt just ignored them. He didn't even say anything. He just ignored them.
Ignored them, made his own calling.
I'm just saying, anybody watching this, you know, don't ever watch anything with Reinhardt in it or any of the Gamers League Live or this bullshit. It's all crap.
He complains that Unholy is fucking garbage. Like, Unholy's not shit. He doesn't know anything about the game. It's insane. Unholy is so shit. Unholy is so shit. It's like, Unholy is just fine. Jesus.
Makes fun of everyone.
And then he's trying to run a tournament?
Guy's AFK in the goddamn brain. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. This guy couldn't lead a tournament or anything out of a wet paper bag. He's a fool.
Yeah, I'll click that.
Yeah.
You like that guy Reinhardt's calls all the time, man, when you watch the VODs? He doesn't even know what's happening. He's like, this guy's ninja capping this, and he's defending it and stuff like that.
What's this a recording of?
The judge admitting that he overruled them.
Okay. Let me play it. Hold on. 2 minutes.
Hey. Yeah, literally 30 minutes before they decided to replay it, I literally told them 2-1 and continue, right? Alright, so originally the original plan was to 2-1 to give you guys EOTs because you won. Obviously, like that's just fair. Like to give you guys EOTs and continue the series by the rulebook, it would be ABN's map pick because they lost, right? So then ABN challenged it. And ABN challenged it, and all of the referees were still in the call saying 2-1. You know, like, okay, like, for example, or not for example, anyway. Unseen's got whistled by ABN, right? I mean, all of you guys have seen the screenshot, the video, whatever, at the same time, right? But there are also people saying that the generic thing with Asper, like in the node, and they're also skeptical of that. So I literally said, okay, if generic they did it to each other, it cancels it out. Continue.
Right.
There's no reason to replay it if they both did it to each other. And then they bring up texture healing, and I'm like, what? Why? Okay, they're in line of sight the entire time of both enemies and their own players. You can get knocked off on the bottom too. All you have to do is lob a succubus knockoff, and you're gone. You know, all of your heals.
Also, I saw Asper go to the node that was adjacent to Bailamos' node, so I said I think that they're going for Bailamos' node. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how that's.
I just said I did. It's like, at first I didn't, but I went back and read it. But it's like, and then obviously Bailamos is going to think that I'm biased because I left your guys' roster a week before the tournament started, right? And
yeah, man, I understand. I
understand that he's angry and thinks that I'm biased, but
I just brought you guys in because I thought that was funny that they had a panel of refs all ruling in our favor and they just ignored them.
Because it was the right thing to do.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna end the call now, but that's funny.
Thanks for letting me know.
What?
Right?
A panel of refs. I'm just gonna ignore them. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. What?
Ridiculous.
What the fuck, man? Can we do? You know, in retrospect, I had practice with JK No Block node defending for 2 hours on Arathi Basin, and Mage didn't get that practice in. I wanted him to defend our nodes, and he would have been able to defend it against 2 rogues for at least a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, to be honest. I don't think they would kill him, so he probably would have had that node defended for a minute, even without a floater. And just Mage didn't know what to do, and we lost the Galnas just because of that. One mistake like that can cost a tournament. Everybody has to be prepared. Everybody has to be in the correct race. Everybody has to know their role. Node defending is just as important as team fighting. And people think, well, I'm just going to guard a node. I don't have a tough job. You do. You have the most important job. The maps are won based on node resources. So you're like half the team, even though you might not think of it on paper like that. That's how it was. So you should be Night Elf. You should sit in Shadow Meld, and you pop an orb. I think first cooldown. I mean, like we practice that. And you don't practice. You don't come. You don't apply yourself to things in life, then you're going to fall behind. And it came to bite us in the ass because and not only that's not just his fault for that and not practicing and not knowing what to do, but you know, as a team, we should recognize if 2 rogues aren't in the team fight, and we should send a floater. So I mean that's a team issue there. I mean, I don't blame the loss on just one person, but You know, that's a huge mistake, and that cost us a game, and it resulted in a 2-0 lead for them. And it should have been 1-1. We should have won that map. We had a better team fight than them. I think we proved that in the EOTS and in the Gilneas when we got there straight up. On the damage overall, there was no way that they would be able to keep up with us. And right then and there, you got a 2-1 if the refs don't, you know, fuck us over and rush on us on the yachts there. So, I mean, the tournament could have been dramatically different. I was extremely confident in us on going into Warsong Gulch that we were going to win that, tie it up 2-2, play the next game, or even 3-1. You know, you can see how this completely flips around. But at the end of the day, you know, my players they're displeased, and I don't blame them for the way that this tournament's being administered. And we said, fuck this, we're not going to participate anymore. You know, why? What's the point, man? We don't deserve this. We deserve to be treated with respect and go ahead. And right now, I've got somebody else that says, you know, there's bias admins, another player, and I guess he wants to be pulled into the call, so I'll do that.
We have somebody that's in the tournament in the administration admitting to it.
Yeah. Hello,
baby?
Hi.
No, dude.
What was your story?
Okay, here, I'll give you the whole lowdown. Hold up, I'll have to prepare myself for this. Okay, so what happened was, like, did you hear what, like, how our team got in the tournament?
I didn't, go ahead.
Okay, so, like, you guys know, like, Fear Factory and, like, the Aussies and stuff? Like,
right.
they
lost to 8, again, and they got raged. They raged.
Yeah, and they pulled out. And so we were like, good guys were like, oh yeah, like, we'll sub in and we'll just have some fun.
Okay.
And we did, and like, they told us, like, okay, we just announced that, like, we're gonna try and get in it, and then they give us an hour to put together a roster, right? And we get this, we put down the roster, and it had Vigorous in it. Now, I don't know if you guys were watching us today, but we got disqualified for playing with Vigorous.
Right.
And we put Vigorous in the roster, and for that whole week on the website, Vigorous's name was on our roster. And then they asked for, just before yesterday when we played, they're like, okay, so who you got playing? And we're like just being completely rushed because the tournament was completely rushed and we were playing in like a couple minutes.
Right, of course.
We were the first team up. We give them a list of our players that we had online, right? And they go ahead, they play their intro, and they actually talk on the stream about how Vigorous is on our team. Now,
oh my God.
And in under like 2 minutes, man, when they're like, okay, who are you playing with, we tell them all, like, we didn't mention Vigorous because he wasn't online.
Yeah.
And yet, he was on the website the entire time.
Right.
Anyway, so we played 2 games, we got shit on because, like, we just didn't practice much. That's fine, and, like, I wasn't even in those games.
Of course.
But we come to the 3rd game, and we get Vigorous is on. Vigorous is like, yo, I can play, let's go, like, I'm on the roster. So we pick him up, and we won that Eye of the Storm, if you guys watch.
Right.
And then after the game, like, we get Magnus is like, oh, guys, by the way, Vigorous wasn't on your roster. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, they actually talked, the guys running the show, like Reinhardt and Gigasnell, actually talked about Vigorous being on our team. And, like, we're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. Like, he's one of the best DKs. He's on their roster and stuff. And they disqualify us because we didn't put his name down under pressure, like, 5 minutes before the game. We started our first game.
Absolute bullshit.
And the worst thing about
awful.
it, too, is, like, think about it this way. Like, did what we do, was it malicious at all? Like, no, he was on our roster. No. He wasn't on anybody else's team at any point. He had been on the website the whole week. He was introduced as being on our team the same stream broadcast. Like, they actually said that he was on our stream, and we got fucking disqualified. And then, here's the worst part about it, dude. The worst part is they go, okay, you guys have to play your 3rd game again, and it can't be Eye of the Storm.
Why not?
If you watch the game, I don't know. They said we can't verse them in Eye of the Storm. They said we have to play the rest of our games without Vigorous, and we can't play him on Eye of the Storm. You know why we can't play him on Eye of the Storm?
Because he won?
Because they had,
you won.
Yeah, and they had a holy priest and shit. Like, that's why, dude, because they couldn't, they were gonna lose on Eye of the Storm, man.
Right.
Like, we completely outcomped them on Eye of the Storm, and they don't let us play it? Like,